Hello YouTube, it's Carlos the Rook, and I'm bringing you round 3 from Chess Zone December action. In this round I'm playing, I'll just say Rand for short because I cannot pronounce the whole name. He's coming in with a rating at 1877 and my rating is 1757 for this game. So Rand starts the game off with e4. I respond c6. I wanted to play Cabo Khan. I've been playing Sicilian defense, I think, for the last 3 tournaments, so I wanted to switch it up and show some versatility. And here he responds with c4. I believe this is the Panov attack, and I haven't played it in a while. It's been at least 10 years since I've seen this, but I remember the line I used to play was a pure Cabo Khan, which is just d5 right away. C captures, C captures, E captures. And here I was debating between knight f6 and taking right back with the queen. So I wasn't sure which way to go. Stockfish is saying knight f6 is better. So I capture with the queen. This gives white a slight advantage. The knight hits and the queen goes back. So knight f3. Now white is leading in development. And I go knight f6 here. My idea is just to develop my pieces. And Rand goes d4. So his idea is he's clamping down on the e5 square. And here the engine wants g6 with the idea of firing cattle on the bishop and putting some pressure on that dark square diagonal. But I came up with a different idea. I went bishop g4. And my idea here is to pin the knight so it can't go to e5 and then go e6 and bring the bishop out to either d6, e7, or b4. And Stockfish is saying this is an error. White is winning now at 1.50. So he go bishop b5 check. And I bring the knight out to protect the square. Now Rand castles. I go a6 putting the question to the bishop. I think the engine wanted e6 here and just continue my development. The bishop retreats to c4. Now I go e6. And here it wants h3, putting the question to my bishop, forcing the bishop to capture the knight and develop the queen. Because I'm not retreating here. Because all my pawns is I got a light squares, so this bishop is not any good for me. Now if this bishop was on b7, then it'd be powerful. Which is maybe why I got that question mark when I moved it to g4. Maybe the bishop needs to be developed along a different diagonal. So here Rand plays d5. And I wasn't sure he had d5 as a viable option. And here Stockfish is saying it's just even here. He lost all advantage playing this move. So d5 was an error. And then once bishop captures f3, queen captures f3, knight e5 is what the... Oh. Oh, wow. I see that now. Then you forking. Let me just show this. This is what the engine wants. Bishop captures, queen captures, knight here, forking the queen and the bishop. And then you get the bishop. That is nice. You're going to have to go queen e2, knight captures c4, queen captures c4, knight captures d5. And black is up a pawn. Wow. To which white has to respond, rook d1, pinning that pawn. Then we just retreat, knight f6. Knight f6. And black is up a clear pawn. Wow. I missed this line. I missed it. He played d5, and I missed the line. I'd have been up a pawn. Take, knight. I see it clear as day now. And I played knight e5. I just played it too soon. Because I had the idea of knight e5, because this knight is pinned. I just needed to capture the knight first and then go knight e5. And here he goes bishop b3. Stockfish wants knight captures f3. But I captured with the bishop. I think I captured with the bishop. I captured with the knight check. G captures f3. It wants bishop h3 hitting the rook. But I went bishop f5. I didn't want to move the rook over to the e file. D captures. And I go bishop captures. Queen e2. Pinning the bishop. And the engine wants bishop e7. It's saying bishop e7 is the only move. I thought I had to protect. I was debating between queen b6 and queen c8. Because I didn't like queen d7 because then rook d1. And the rook develops with a tempo. So I went queen c8. And here he goes, rook e1. The engine wanted bishop f4. He went rook e1, and his idea is to win a pawn. Bishop captures, pawn, queen captures, rook captures, king f7, and white is up the pawn. So I go bishop e7. I wasn't sure where to put my bishop because I seen my king was going to end up on f7. So I didn't want the bishop to end up on a square where the rook move and it hits the bishop. So we go onto that line. And white has a slight advantage. The engine wants rook b6, pinning the pawns down on the queen side. But Ren fell back to rook e2. And I felt like he gave me a little room. So I bring my rook out. My idea is that this f pawn is hanging. So it was the king and knight move. That f pawn is a weakness. It's a doubled up pawn. And his king is exposed. My king can tuck in under g8. And he goes bishop e3. And I thought his idea was knight here to here, locking my queenside pawns down. So I played b5 right away, immediately. So there'd be none of that nonsense. And it was the best move in the position. And now my rook's free to move around. He go rook d1. I challenged the rook on the d file. And now he double up rooks. So here I had to think for a minute. Do I want to exchange rooks? Bishop b4 is a move. King g8. But like after bishop b4, no, bishop b4 isn't a move because you lose both rooks. You lose the rooks. So you can't do bishop b4. The rooks come in twice. Let me show that. Bishop b4. So that's why bishop b4 is not good. So the best move in the position is the move I made. Rook captures d2. So I capture the rook. He captured back. And the engine wants rook d8, just taking the rooks off the board. But I went bishop b4 with the idea of pinning the knight. And my idea is to capture on c3 and breaking up these pawns here, giving another weakness for me to concentrate on. So Rand went rook d3 so he can capture back with the rook. And here I went rook c8, renewing the threat of breaking up these pawns. And here he goes knight e4. And if I capture that knight, I undouble his pawns. I definitely don't want to do that. I am not undoubling them pawns. That's a major weakness. So Stockfish wants king e6 here. That's a bold move. King e6. That is bold. I didn't have that in me. Not no king e6. But what I retreated the bishop to e7. Well, my idea is to capture the bishop and then, capture the knight back with the bishop and then putting pressure on the dark diagonal. I felt like my bishop would be really active there. So you go knight d6 check, forking the king and rook. Now I'm forced to take the knight. The rook takes. So we go into an endgame. White is a pawn up. So here, assess the situation. I'm just playing for a draw. I'm just trying to hold things together. So I go rook c2. And my idea is to put pressure on these pawns on the queen side. He go bishop d4. And here I go a5. Whoa. Why did it do that? Why is it doing that? Why is it just automatically? I don't know why it's doing that. Hold on. It just automatically going into the line. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, hold on. It's tweaking for real now. Give me just a second. I apologize. Let me try and see what type of. I don't know why it's auto doing stuff. It's just auto playing the moves. Hold on, let me close it and start it back. It's doing it again. My goodness, what is going on? I just ended the task on chess base. Let's see if I restart if it's still acting up. I don't know why I did that. All right, let me see if I can find where we were. Flip the board again. It was rook e2. All right, I believe that's where we was. I apologize for that. I don't know why chess base just tweaked like that. This thing just really started acting up. So it's bishop e7, so I can capture back with the bishop. He went knight d6. I capture, he captured, and now I'm going after the queen side pawns. He put his bishop on f5 to protect. And here I go a5. And my idea is to push these pawns and break up the queen side pawns over here and try and see if I can get a pass pawn through over here. And here he goes rook a6, harassing the a pawn. So I push up to a4. He checks me. And I step over to king g6. So I had an idea here. What I'm looking at is knight d5 to f4. I'm going to show that. And the king is weak. If this pawn doesn't move, there's a back rank mate right here with the knight on f4. So that was my idea. But the problem is, white has counterplay. He's coming in on this way. So I was trying to figure out how I can do that without alerting him to what I was trying to do. So he went rook b7. And I went the other way. Knight h5. I'm protecting my g-pawn. And I'm threatening to go to f4 with the idea of back rank mate. So he go bishop e5 to stop it. So he figured out what I was trying to do. And he's a strong player. I think his live rating was 1910, even though his monthly rating was 1887. So I dropped down, hitting the bishop. He moved the bishop back to c3. And I go rook d5, renewing the threat of knight f4, and then checkmate on d1. He goes rook e7. The engine says that's a blunder. Hold on, rook e7. Let me back up just one. So white had an advantage with king f1 of 1.17. So the rook e7, he squandered his advantage, and it's a draw on position now. And then once rook d1 check, the king moves up, knight check. I really don't see the point in that. But that is what I did. I went rook d1 check. He blocked with the rook. And here I had to decide, I'm going for a draw. I'm down the pawn. He got double up pawns. And knight versus bishop endgame should be drawn. So I capture. He captured back. I activate my king. My king is more active than his. He go king f1, trying to move up. And so I go knight f4, just blocking him off. I'm not letting that king out of there. So he goes a3, submitting the position on the queen side. That's okay with me. And now I go g6. So from in-game knowledge, like I do in-game lessons with Levy on Chesley. So I've taken this course, like I take the course probably once a month. His in-game course. And the thing is, he's got the dark square bishop. So I want all my pawns on light squares. So none of my pawns can be attacked by his bishop. So they all safe. My knight can hit any color. So all his pawns can get hit by my knight. I just have to maneuver it in order to hit it. So his bishop can come over here and protect this, lock this down. This pawn is weak. This pawn is weak. So his king can't go after these pawns without losing these pawns. So he plays bishop c3. And here I come up with the idea, h5. And my idea is just push the h pawn as far as I can. And if any situation, the bishop and knight comes off the board, I got an h pawn all the way on h3. So I can come run over here while he has to deal with this. Once we get these pawns settled over, this is still going to be here 2 squares from a queen. He goes bishop d2, threatening to trade the bishop and knight off. For a second, I thought I had to move the knight, but then I like, why move the knight? Just keep pushing this h pawn. So I go h4, and my idea once again is h3. And I know bishop captures knight f4 is a huge mistake. It will be losing for white. I instinctively felt that. And Rand captures. He captures the knight, which is a huge error. And now it went up 5.34 my way. I'm completely winning. I take back. And he goes king g2. And I missed the winning move. The winning move here is king f5. I'm not even sure how that's the winning move, king f5. You go here. So first move I looked at was h3, king take, king take. King h4. And if king takes this, king here, here. Oh, not that way. And I'm just behind. Because now he comes here and shoulders me. And white just wins. He wins the race. So that's not it. The winning move would have been king f5. And saying white had to play f4, giving up the pawn. And then f3, king e3, king h3 going after this pawn. Oh, then you just go over here. King d2, king captures, king c2, king g5, king captures b2, h4, king captures a3, h5, g captures, f4, h4, f5, h3, f6, h2, f7, queen, queen, that's a check, so b4, and black is winning. You're gonna have to trade off the queens, but once black trade off the queens, he's up 2 pawns. That's just completely winning. So that was the winning technique. Now let's go back. King f5. Now instead of f4, what if white would have tried here? Now it's g5, king g2, king e5, h3. That's drawn. That's not the way to do it. King e5 was the move. King e5. And if white king moves back, now I can play h3. Okay, I see it. If white king moves back, I can play h3 and stop him. Oh, no. That's wrong. It's king f4. What if he go back here? Now it's h3. Oh, we get back into that line, the same line where you come over here. If he play h3 now, king f4, and this pawn falls. So hold on. Let me look at this a little deeper. End game. King f5. If white goes back, king steps up, king step back up to protect, h3 check. Okay, I see it now. The difference between this and the other one going h3 right away is it takes 2 moves for the king to get this pawn. So the king can take and then come back here to protect the pawn. So that's why the king needs to be here first before you go to h3. So that's why king f5, basically you're doing a triangulation. Okay, but I messed this up. I played g5 here, thinking I could play h3 the next move and deflect the king. Because it was king here, and I went g5. Which is drawn. He moved up h3. And we just dancing and shuffling the king. He try and break through. And here we agree to a draw. Neither one of us is getting through. So I had a chance to win there at the end of the end game, and I missed it. And I just had to move my king to f5 and allow him to back up, and then king e5 and just triangulate my king. So we end up repeating the position with it being my turn to move. So I missed that. And I'm going to actually turn that into an in-game study so I can study that deeper. So I ended up getting a draw the third game. I took a bye the fourth round and I didn't play. So this was a good tournament. I played 3 people stronger rated than me, and I got a really good results out of this. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Tell all your friends about it, and let's grow the channel. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.